Next on our track, titled Personalized Parent-Child Supports, let's welcome Dr. Amy Parker, COMS, Reading, Writing, and Self-Regulation, Portland State University. Dr. Parker will demonstrate interactive parent-child activities.
Hi there. I'm Dr. Amy Parker. I'm an assistant professor at Portland State University, and I'm pleased here to be with you today to talk about how a highly preferred object or fascination can be used as opportunities to build reading, writing, and self-reflection. Let's get started. So as you look at this slide in front of us today, we know that many children, of course, don't just have one disability. And those disability categories don't mean just one thing. But one thing that remains consistent for students with disabilities and for all children, as I'm on the next slide, we need to engage in serve and return. So this is from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child, all the best research in the world, really, that talks about how to support children with complex communication needs involves developing this rapport, this serve and return. On the screen, you see an image here of two people playing tennis. And that's a metaphor for this back and forth that we need in terms of play, in terms of emotional regulation, in terms of communication. And that back and forth, you and me, becomes a pattern that actually supports all of development. But when this is interrupted for some reason, because a child has difficulty seeing or hearing us, or because a child has difficulty neurologically engaging or with their attention, we need to be very intentional about how we set up opportunities to engage in this behavior and to enjoy this behavior with our students and children. So I want to tell you a simple story now about a young girl that I met several years ago. Her mother called me, and her name is Kay. One thing that you should know is that this child was just diagnosed with autism. Her mother let me know right away that she had visual impairment, that they knew about the visual impairments from birth, and the challenges were there from birth. But let's look at this video together.
And you're being very gentle with my hair. Thank you. I'm going to put the... Yes. Yes.
I just love her Southern accent, don't you?
Here's the word butt heads, 2 words. And here's a card that says, what does it say? Connor. Does this say Connor? Look carefully. What does it say? It doesn't say anything. There's no letters on that one. Here. I'm going to put the cards up here.
So I've put the cards for her up on a chair.
We're playing with Miss Amy.
She says, "Good job playing with Miss Amy."
Find butt heads. Can you find it?
So I've actually presented her with a card that has letters and a card that has nothing on it.
Nothing on it. Nothing on there. No letters. This one has letters that say butt heads. Okay, let's do it. Do it. Butt heads. We did butt heads. Butt heads. And we can write stories about butt heads. That Connor likes to butt heads. Connor likes to butt heads. Connor. Okay.
A lot of echolalia going on, as you can tell.
Come to me. Our writing wall, where we're gonna play and write and play. Good coming. Good. Yes, baby. You want to give Mommy the rubber band so you guys can play with the writing wall? No.
I love that she says no.
Practice for a little while.
Do you want to do this? No.
Good. We'll give it back. Good. Take a break. Give it to Mommy, and then you can have it back. Oh, thank you. Excellent giving. We're going to write a story or a song about butting heads. Okay? have to write a story about it, okay? What do we want a story? Who wants to butt heads?
Carson wants to butt.
Okay, Carson, S-E-N. Come here, you have to come to the writing wall. We have to write it first. Carson wants to do what?
Butt heads.
To butt heads. Carson wants to butt heads.
She's running out of patience with me now.
We're going to write about it. So we just wrote a story. Read it to me. Let's use our fingers. If you're doing good, then we'll do it. Carson wants to butt heads. Okay, so we do it. Ready? Butt heads. Butt heads. Do it again. Butt heads. Okay. So Carson. What are the words in our story about butting heads? This one, and that one says.
Butting heads.
That says butt heads or butting heads. Good. It says butt heads. Who else is in our story? Who?
Connor.
Connor with a C. Good, touching the Connor card. Good. And who else is in our story? There are two more cards of people in our story.
Ariel.
We've already done butt heads. We've already done Connor. Now who else is in our story? Can you tell me who?
All ram is not really a word.
Well, if we
So she's
do
losing
this
patience
well,
with this
we can
right
start
now.
playing with the rubber band for a little bit. Would you like that? Okay, so to finish our story, tell me the names on these cards of who's in our story about butt heads.
Amy.
Oh, good reading. That card says Amy. Good work. What else? Who else? Carson and Amy and Connor.
But you can see the way that kind of an odd interest in butting heads could be used for a story. Now, many of you might be saying, well, the kids that I work with or my own child would not even have patience up until that point. And that may be true. But sometimes you have to take the smallest things to weave together those interests. This very simple map is called a preferences map. We all know these things that work and things that don't work with our kids or with our students. And we have to go with the things that work. That's the building block for this serve and return, for this foundation of communication. Because if you want to communicate with somebody that doesn't have a good communication system, you need to start with something that's really, really motivating and meaningful to them. And it can be a little weird, right? Sometimes kids are interested in mouse pads or they're interested in one simple toy. But we start from there as a way in, right, to get to this serve and return. So I think of preferences as building blocks. This slide has multicolors of crayons on here. And if you're working with students that have more language or have more capacity to communicate with you, you can scale up on this practice, right? You can involve students to contribute images, to contribute objects that are meaningful to them. If you are trying to make friends with somebody, what do? You talk with them about what they want to talk about. You can use different colors or maps or sounds. So these are just different ideas for you that you can get into with domains, thinking about how to expand on those preferences, not only edibles, but experiences, toys, textures, different people. Person-centered planning has been around for a long time, and it's still a really wonderful process to kind of think beyond where a person is right now. So I'll leave you with those thoughts and reference you to the Paths to Literacy website that is created by Perkins Outreach. Paths to Literacy, Playing with Words is by Linda Haygood. This is a link to her website that's about playing with words that has many more examples that you can dive into. I'm just so pleased to be with you today, and I hope you have a great conference and that you can find some moments of joy, even in the quarantine, and moments to laugh about and connect with your students and children. Thank you.